Good evening, all. Uh, Raj, could you see the screen I'm sharing?
Yes, Archana.
Yeah. Okay. Very good evening, all. This is Dr.Archana Toppo. I have been in corporate pharmaceutical company for over 15 years. And then I've shifted the gear to become executive life and positive psychology coach. Mr. Sunil has invited me today to share thoughts and a few experiences through my career to understand more about communication skills. As far my understanding is that you all are training to join in the corporate or develop your own businesses. And communication skills are one of the most important and finer life skill which you would not only require in your professional space, but also in your personal space. So let's start. Success through communication. Communication is the core entity which is important for success. A lot of people understand about technicalities. A lot of people understand about how to do their work. But as you grow in your career and as you go beyond a level of a team member, you start becoming a leader or taking care of a team, then it is very important to have a good communication. Because if you are able to communicate well about what you think, what your ideas are, how you can put people together to achieve the higher goals, your value as leader becomes more crucial. So why do we actually require communication? Communication is required for information. Either you enhance your knowledge or you share it with others, or for giving feedbacks. It is one of the very important aspect of communication. A lot of you who are working afresh in corporates might understand how a feedback is valuable if given in a right way. Other things, delegation. As you become seniors, there work management which has to be done through the teams, and because of which the clear communication and what is expected out of the other person and what is your outcome from that person becomes very important and crucial to communicate well. Also, it is required when we have debate or conflict. This is something which is both personal and professional front important thing, because we have a lot of differences from individuals we work around or in the family. So if you have a debate or a conflict, through communication, if you solve it, it is always better rather than having an argument or fight or differences, which might break down a great relationship between the manager and the subordinate, or with the senior managers, or with your spouse or partner or children. Also, for follow-up of lot of closures, communication is required in the professional and personal space. So these are the important areas where we require communication. And it's not only one aspect of our life where communication is required, but it's in as a totality of our personality. If our communication is good, we excel in all the areas of our life. Now, the benefits of communication is you are able to collaborate well and problem solving. If you're a senior leader, that is one of the most important trait as to how not only can you work independently great, but also be together with others and develop solutions for the problems which you are facing through companies. Conflict resolution is important through negotiation skills. Again, communication and negotiation skills are an important aspect, because it requires understanding from both the ends, and it is important for completing a task. Also, non-verbal communications is also important, which we rarely look into, which means that how your body language is, how your expression is, how your tones are. Those all things make you look more confident and actually helps you in Excel. So at your level, what are the, how does a good communication helps? It will be effective in your business in case you're trying to develop your own business, or you could be a sought after hire, because nowadays the life skill of communication is thought to be more important than how much an individual is technically clear and sharp. Because as the leaders grow, that is one of the most important requirements. So HR mostly looks into how well you can communicate and how well can you resolve the conflicts. These are two important questions which comes from the HR side to the new hires or a few years experienced people. Also, you become an influential leader. The more you grow in communication, more people listen to you, more people follow you, and that is how you are recognized as a very good communicator and very good problem solver, because people have a good perception of you because you are able to communicate well. And leaving all the professional arena, you also people also connect well with a good communicator because they feel the person is valuable, the person is understanding and mature. Now, what is communication? Can anybody help me with what they understand with communication? Raj, can they speak? Or can you message?
Archana, as this is a webinar, by default, all the participants are on mute, but you can ask them to raise their hands. Okay. So people who wants to talk to you will be raising their hands, and you have the controls of unmuting them so that you can speak to them.
Okay. Six participants have, okay. How do I unmute them? Yeah, Monica. Could you share your understanding of what is a communication?
Good evening. Yeah.
Good evening.
Communication is nothing but expressing our ideas, views to other person.
Yeah, you can see my slides, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. A little bit of cheating, but what exactly you mean by sharing ideas, thoughts? Can you speak a little more?
Uh, to, to understand what others is saying, we need the communication, ma'am.
Okay. Can you mute yourself?
Okay, ma'am.
Because I am unable to. Not able to unmute Bharat. Yeah, Vivash. Vivash, could you share your idea on communication? Vivek?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah,
This
ma'am.
is,
Am I audible?
yes, Vivek. Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Today about there was topics communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, communicate is a one type of platform. There was a Hindi. We will speak one person to another person. Say communicate. This is a this is a this is a but English is same but English is there was one type of language. Hindi is a language, English is a language, Bengali is a language, then Indian so their English communicate with one person to another person, interact with communicate, but there was interact with easily, like easily understands to how to communicate, easily communicate, and they are also
So Vivash, you are trying to say कि अगर language same होगी आपकी तो आप communicate better कर सकते हो, right?
yes ma'am.
If the if an English speaker is speaking to English person, then it's easier. या हिंदी में कुछ बातें जो हैं वो आप समझा सकते हो आसानी से.
Yes ma'am. हमारे English is a one type of platform, like हिंदी जैसा है, easily समझा सकते किसी को. इंग्लिश किसी का अगर बेटर रहेगा तो वो भी मतलब अनदर पर्सन को अच्छा से समझा सकता है. मतलब कुछ भी चीज को हिंदी में जैसे हम लोग पूरा अच्छी तरह से समझा देते, इंग्लिश में भी वैसी समझा सकते हैं. इंग्लिश इज वन टाइप ऑफ प्लेटफॉर्म. इंग्लिश not able to another language, but English is a language, Hindi is a language. मतलब हिंदी एक तो हिंदी वन टाइप ऑफ लैंग्वेज है, इंग्लिश इज वन टाइप ऑफ लैंग्वेज. Most of
Okay,
the
so it's basically
most
a
of
platform for communication. Different languages are there.
basically platform our one country to another country, or we communicate. That time cannot use a Hindi word. That time
Right.
only for English. So they are easily communicate like a business, and one person to another person, one one country to another country. We will speak.
Got your point.
We yes
Vivash.
better communications
In the same
able.
language happens. Understood
yes
your point. Vivek, you were
okay,
saying
okay.
something?
Yes ma'am.
No. Vivek, I have given permission to Vivek. Vivek was trying to say something. Vivek,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can unmute and speak.
Yes ma'am.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Vivek here.
Yeah, Mr. Vivek. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so communication is nothing but sending and receiving messages through verbal and non-verbal methods, or it
Okay.
is simply like sharing thoughts, information like this. I will say.
Okay. Fine. There are others who have raised. Let me just take one more. If it goes Bharat or okay. Tati Krishna, could you share your thoughts?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, exactly what I'm saying means passing information from one person to the another person, and our ideas and thoughts, which is related to the if we are in working in an organization as per of our our work things or any matter in
Right.
our language or in English or in some other language, which we have to exactly pass the information from one person to the other person.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Thanks all. I'll take further questions later on. So basically, communication comes from a communis Latin word, which means sharing. So the communication is process of sharing, as many of you said, about the ideas, thoughts, and feelings with other people, and having those ideas, thoughts, and feelings understood by the people we are talking with. So like Vibhash was saying, if you're speaking in Hindi and the other person is speaking in another language, there is a communication gap. And as others said, that it has to be also equivalently understood by people. Right. Now, why there is an emphasis on sharing and understanding in the definition? Sharing doesn't mean that others would agree to it. Lot of time what we do is we share a thought and we believe that the other person should agree to it because I'm sharing my thoughts. So sharing means only that you are giving your information, whatever you have acquired knowledge or through experience or through reading, you're just sharing it. And the others have a right to not agree to it. And that doesn't make them wrong or bad people, or they are not trying to judge you. So communication, first point is that it is just sharing, and it should not be taken personally if the other person does not agree to it. So how do you share in a way that the other person is not taking it personally? Like, keep your perspective without judgment. Like, in my opinion, as my experience speaks, I would like to share a different view than the one you hold. In these ways, what happens that you are not saying anything about the other person. You're not judging the other person. You're just saying about what you think and how your opinion or experience speaks about a particular subject. You should always avoid, when you are communicating, that it is not so. When somebody says their perspective, you should not say it is not so, or you should not say that you are wrong, because that means it's becoming not a communication, it's becoming a debate and discussion as to who is right and wrong. And when you are communicating, there is no right and wrong in a lot of the things, and it can be a difference of experience which is making the other person say things. So with communication, there should not be a judgment. There's a very beautiful quote by Miles Davis. It said that if you understood everything I said, you would be me. So basically, understanding, the first point, that you are sharing your thoughts. It might or might not be similar to the other person's thoughts, and they might or might not understand exactly. And it will require an effort from your end to help them understand what you are saying without passing any judgment that they are right or wrong. And also it will require an understanding from their end, so that there is no limitations from the intellectual state or from the fear state or ego, that this is not a right thing, or if I agree to this person, then I will be seen as a fool, or I have to make sure that my opinion is right. All those things do not come under communication. Communication is just sharing and trying to make the other person understand in a non-judgmental way, and doing the same for the other person. Now, what are the types of communication? Verbal, non-verbal, and email text. So there are...
Sorry to interrupt you, Archana. Are you using any PowerPoint slide? Because I still see only the screen one, first slide.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see? Can you see now?
Yes, now we are in the right slide.
Okay. So type of communication, it's verbal, non-verbal, email, and text. Most of us think that the communication is verbal, both informal and formal, we understand. But non-verbal communications are the body language and the eye contacts and the expressions which you create. So when you are not even talking to the person who is talking to somebody else, but you give a different body language, or you roll your eyes, or you make a smirky face, that is also a non-verbal communication which you should ensure to manage when you are talking to somebody, or when you are seated in a group of people. Third, and the most important, is email or texting. Most of the individuals develop how you are as a person on the basis of mails. Because when you start working, a lot of people might not see your face or might not have met you personally, and so they don't know who you are, how you are. So when you write a mail or you text to any person on a professional level, they understand from how you write as to what kind of individual you are, whether you are serious about your work, whether you are respecting the other person while you are saying something to them in the messages or in the mail. So it also creates an impression. If the person is very slacky and loose in their text messaging or emailing, then the quality of work might also be not as great as it should be. So not only verbal communication should be looked after, but non-verbal and email or text formats of communication should also be very sincerely looked into. Now, what are the principles of communication? The principles of communication is to be always honest, and it should be based on what you have experienced or what you have read or what you have heard. Because if your communication keeps changing, that means your thought about the same thing is constantly changing, and that is a sign of unreliability on what and how you will speak about something, right? So make sure that whatever is your honest opinion regarding a subject, you should share that. Validation of other speaker, like I said earlier, there should be no judgment from the other for the other person, and just as an information it should be taken. And acknowledgement is important, that it is similar to what my opinion is, then it is well and good. But even if it is not similar, it should be acknowledged. Okay, probably your experience has given you this viewpoint, my experience has been this. So acknowledging the difference but respecting both viewpoints. And decision making, one more important thing, because a lot of people don't tell you this. Being experienced in corporate life for 15 years, staying silent or speaking is a decision you have to make when you are with people. Because sometimes just to appear that yes, I am here, or just to make your presence felt, if you speak and it does not have a value added to it, then your personality goes down, as to your value of people trusting you for saying something sensible goes off. I can see few hands raised. Does anybody want to speak anything? Faraz Sayyid, would you want to share anything on this, or do you have any question about it?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, hello.
Yeah, who's this? Vibash, is it?
Yes, ma'am. My name
Yes,
is Vivas Kumar Mandal.
yes.
And my question is, ma'am, how to improve our communication skills, like exactly properly not available for grammar English, but there was we will speak, ma'am, how to communications we will improving.
Yes. So Vibash, for that understanding, you will have to take classes where specific English language classes which are there. Once you understand the language, then it is easier to communicate. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am. There was we will speak, me speak, but not a properly speak. But I
you don't have to worry about it. You have to constantly practice it. Lot of people who are from North India, मैं खुद बिहारी झारखंडी हूँ. So I understand there is a challenge with the language, because since childhood we don't speak English much. But as you can see my language and from the confidence with which I speak, constant practice of speaking it in front of mirror, you can practice that, and also taking classes will really help. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Me also Jharkhand, Jamshedpur.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Raj, can you see the screen? Or
Yes, Archana, types of communication.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the principles of communication. Now, why do we have to have principles while communicating? Because it helps giving clarity to the other person as to what your stance is, because you're being honest in your communication and you're being direct in your communication. Then it gives you a credibility and authenticity that this person speaks their mind and they have a value behind whatever they are saying, and they have their own reasons and they stand by their communication points. Then it helps in other people trusting you, that they have a connection with you, and it also helps in emotional intelligence level, that you can understand the other person also better when you are not judgmental, or you do not have a power play or trying to prove attitude towards others. And when you also learn when to speak and when not to speak, when to share your opinion, when only when it is making any significant difference in the meeting or your workplace, then it gives you a power that yes, the person does not speak as and when required. The person speaks only as and when required, and not just for the sake of making others feel their presence. And also it helps saving time because it avoids mixed up communications, and it helps your stance to be very, very clear in the challenging discussions. Now, what are the basic requirements for great communication? First is listening, second is due diligence, third is being prepared, and fourth is acceptance. Now, listening, are you hearing or listening? The main difference is whether you are completely present or not, and whether you are comfortable with silence or not. When you listen to understand the other person and not to think that what next I have to say. When you are thinking what next I have to say, then you are just hearing the other person. So you have to be fully present and be comfortable with the silence when the other person is speaking, so that you have clarity of what they are saying. And if you do not understand what they are saying, then you can clarify with your questions. You can pay attention to the answers they are giving. You will withhold your judgment. You can summarize whatever they have said, and then you can ask your questions as to your summarization of what they are trying to say is right or not, to avoid any confusion and conflict. Then you can share individual perspectives to have a collaborative discussion, and then you can reflect whether it is working out well or not. So the listening is not just hearing what is being said, but having all these sequences so that you are very, very clear and you understand what the other person is saying. Meanwhile, you also share your thoughts and make sure, because you are listening and giving time to understand the other person will equally behave in the same manner and not be judgmental with you and listen to you carefully. Now, about the due diligence, be well read and informed when you are communicating something. Why this due diligence is required? Faraz, do you want to say something? You've raised your hand. Abu, you can't. Okay, I am. Abu asked me, do you want to speak something? Okay, if nothing is there, let's move ahead. What is due diligence? Now, due diligence is very, very important when you are communicating on a subject matter, especially. Why? because when you're talking about a subject matter, you should be very sure of what you are saying, because that can be rechecked and reanalyzed by other people, and that creates a value of what you are saying. So do your due diligence about the facts on the subject, why a particular topic is important, what is your opinion on that topic, and where have you learned that particular aspect of the topic. Now, there would be contradictory views which you will come across. So communication does not mean that you just put your words and you forget about what others can say. You also have to understand that others might or might not agree with the same thought process. So what challenging questions can they ask? And how would you apply your knowledge into solving those contradictory views? And how to address those things in a solution oriented way. As to your aspect is right from where you are thinking, and my aspect is right from what my experience is. Let's see how we can fit together and develop a negotiable communication. So be sure before you speak, because that will showcase that you have confidence about your subject. It creates the value for your input, and it can cover multiple aspects, because if you don't speak continuously in a meeting or continuously in a group of people, then you can always hear what others have a view on those particular topics, and probably you can summarize and put it together with your opinion on a subject with multiple aspects. Third point is be prepared. Now, what is this preparation? We have already talked about due diligence, but what should you be prepared for? There are 4 important things which you should be prepared for: the pitch in which you talk, the tone in which you talk, the rebuttal which might come, and the language. Many a times in communication, hello, again, is my screen not?
The slide is still same. Yes.
My screen is not visible again.
Ma'am, visible, but the slide is types of communication. I think you will talk about something else.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Only visible type of communication, our skins.
Ma'am, can you change the slide of which are you talking about?
Yes, I am actually changing it from my end, but I think.
Okay.
Wait, let me stop and reshare. Can you see now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we talked about due diligence, which means that you have to be very clear on your subject. You have to also regard what could be the contradictory views and be prepared for answering and addressing them, because then it will give more credit to your opinion, and it should be more solution oriented than a debate and discussion. So these are the benefits, the confidence, the value to your what you are suggesting, and it can cover the multiple aspects when you listen to everybody and then finally give your version. Then be prepared. Can you all see the screen? For what?
Yes, ma'am.
Points? Yeah, good. So for what? You have to be prepared for your pitch, tone, language, and rebuttal. Because many a times what happens that when you are speaking about a point which is very true, very valid and factual, and you have references for it, but if you present it to other in a way which is derogatory to them, or in a way which is questioning their value, then it is not really taken well. So no matter how good your topic is or how good you are prepared, it's not considered well. So how do you give your communication? in the way of whether you are speaking too loudly or your pitch is too high, and it's like blame kind of a tone or offensive tone to others, or if you're not using a right language or a respectable language, or you rebut in a way that you are wrong and I am right, even if you are right, if these are the aspects which you use, generally people don't accept the facts, no matter how good you are, how right you are, but still people will take it offensively, and the value which you are trying to bring through your communication will be reduced, and it will be like he is like this or she is like that and this. So we should not, because offensiveness brings people together against the person who is being being an offender. So try not to do those things in your communication, not only speaking the facts, but how you speak it is also an important aspect of communication. Why it is important? This is more of a psychological aspects which I deal with people, because when you have a tone which is derogatory, the other person's insecurities, subconscious level feeling that maybe I am not respected so much, or my words are not valued, all those insecurities comes up, and they often react and regret than responding. Even when other person is saying something to you, you should try to respond more. That means you should understand what they are saying, and then set a tone as to, if the other person is shouting and you don't shout back, you give a pause and you say, okay, let's talk, rather than shouting at each other. And then you set a tone as to how they should be treating you. So that's an aspect of psychological aspect which everybody should learn. Now, fourth point is acceptance. What do you need to accept? That different people have different experiences. They will have different thought processes than yours. They might have different maturity levels than yours, and they might have different communication styles. So when the other person is saying something, they might not be as mature as you are, or as experienced as you are, and whatever they have learned, they might come in their own way. So you have to be accepting of that, and then set the tone as to what is acceptable for me and what is not acceptable for me. So your acceptance is more important to keep your peace of mind and communicate your things as a valuable add-on. Now, what is effective communication? This is something which is required in both a personal and professional aspects. Eye contact. A lot of people are on phone and talking nowadays. A lot of people look here, there, because either they are shy, or they are not sure how to look at the eyes. And that actually builds up a feeling for other person that the person is not confident, or the person is not attentive towards me, or the person is not valuing me enough. So for effective communication, when you're speaking your viewpoint, or when you're talking something serious, you should always make sure that there is an eye contact. Also, the body language, if you are in a corporate setup, or if you're in a business, or if you're meeting somebody from your professional aspects, there should be a formal dressing. No crossing of arms, because crossing of arms generally is seen as that the person is not letting me in, is not accepting. Not standing in a tilted, relaxed way, or taking support of something, because that shows that you are not serious about what you're speaking, or you're not valuing yourself. Then your expression should always be suitable. I wouldn't say that you always have to smile and be always glad about what conversation is going on, but it has to be suitable as to whether the conversation is a serious topic or just a casual talk. Your facial expressions have to be same. Asking curious questions and checking for understanding will only help develop trust and clarity of the subject, and that gives a psychological communication development between two people, that this person is understanding me, or if not understanding me, is trying to understand me. So hence that will help you in becoming a more effective communicator. When you start speaking about the subject, others will also respond to you in the same way. Most important thing is always summarizing what you have understood about what the other person is saying, so that people understand that we all are on same page. Otherwise, the people can keep talking tangentially and the conclusion can be varied, or understanding of each other can be varied. So it's always good to summarize whatever discussion points are happening into 1, 2, 3, and whether we all agree on that particular communication point or not. Now, what are the communication goals? There are 4 major goals for which most people communicate. The commonest is people want others to change their behavior. But as we have all seen, that communication is about sharing and understanding. If the person understands what and from where you are coming and what perspective you are sharing, there will be a change behavior. The goal for communication should not be a change behavior, because then there is a fight as to who is right and who is wrong. If you're not changing your behavior because of what I said, that means you are telling me I am wrong, or the other person will feel that I am doing this because I want to do this, and the other person is thinking that I am wrong. So change behavior is not a communication goal. It's only sharing and understanding, which can lead to change behavior. Also, it can be for taking actions. It can be only for plain understanding and nothing else, that this is what I feel and this is what I feel. It might or might not require a final decision. Also, for persuading in senior positions, when you have to persuade somebody, you have to have all the aspects which I talked about, that you have to be prepared, you have to be more factual. All those points should be considered to ensure that you are able to persuade a person. Now, how to start any communication? This is one of the important aspects, because even in our professional space, as long as we are talking about business, or as long as we are talking about some work, a lot of people are able to communicate. But then when there is no topic of the official work, people do not know how to communicate, how to develop rapport. So if you do not develop a rapport, you will not have a networking skill. If you don't have a networking skill, your limitation of growth will be higher, because you wouldn't come across and meet more people, and you wouldn't be able to connect to more people for your work, or for your projects, or developing your business, or things like that. So 2 simple facts which can be used: always give leads in your conversations. That means never answer a yes or a no. Like, even if somebody asks, what is your name? You say, my name is so and so, and I am from this and this place. And you can add on with a lead question as to, where are you from? So in a simple conversation, always give a lead to other person, so that that person can pick up that lead. Either if you say, I am from this and this place, and it can get over with that. Or you can, if the other person is not responding, because maybe that person is also shy or inhibited and doesn't know how to communicate, then after a pause, you can add the question as to, where are you from? Or, I like this, traveling. Do you also like? What places do you like to travel? So always give these leads in your conversation, so that the other person can hold on to these conversations, and a conversation flow can happen. Second point, if you want to start a conversation with anybody, it has to be a win-win conversation. What do we mean by win-win conversation? Win-win conversation is 2-3 aspects of who you are, what you do, what you are looking at is looked into, so that the other person can pick any one of those. People can be interested in, I would always suggest not to get into politics, because there can be stronger emotional built up in political conversations, unless you know the person very, very well. Otherwise, traveling, movies, or where are you from, what are your basic hobbies, all these things would actually help the other person pick up one point, finer point from your multiple topics and start communicating. Harini, you have raised your hand. Do you want to ask anything or add anything? Or is it by mistake? Okay. Anybody wants to understand anything about this better? Because simple communication is the toughest thing for most of us. No? Good. So you all are good communicator. Hello? I can't scroll down. Is there anybody else? Satish, you want to add something? Ask something? Any aspect of presentation anybody wants to ask? Abukun Ali?
Hello.
Hello, who's this?
Yeah, this is Ebukun.
Yeah, Abukun, please.
Yeah. Thank you for this presentation. My question is, I would like to ask that how can you build confidence to ask questions or to contribute to a conversation within a team of people? Because to be honest, I find it really challenging, like being within a meeting where there are about 5 to 10 people. I find it very difficult to like say something. So how can someone build confidence to have a conversation among people?
Okay, thanks for that question, Abu. It is very daunting when people are sitting and conversing about something. The best thing I have realized is, before going into meeting, do your due diligence. Read through what discussions are going to happen and maintain few points which you would raise. Many a times what happens, a lot of seniors are sitting there and you don't know whether you are right in asking this question, or you are going to feel that maybe people will look at me like this is a stupid question. But believe me, if you want to help yourself in getting recognized, you will have to speak up and let them address to it. So it's a inherent fear of judgment which we all carry, as to what will people think. People will think I don't understand the subject, or I don't know this much also. But it's always good if you have few points to ask. It is always good. Or you can frame your statements like, as I would like to put forth a point which I thought might be useful for the group. Start trying to recall these kind of sentences. Or I would like to interject for understanding something which I might have missed in my understanding. So put yourself in a way that you are asking people, because they are senior to you and they have better understanding of subject. or things. So nobody would get offended that you are asking something for a guidance. Or if you are at a senior level, you should be very confidently say, I would like to interject, or I would like to share my opinion with the people, with all of you. In my opinion or in my experience, that there will be a fear and there will be a hitch before you start speaking. But if you constantly have a habit of asking things which are valuable, not just because you want to show that I am there, but if you're prepared about the topic or the discussions which are going to happen, you might have as an individual valid questions. So put forth that without the fear that I might look stupid or people might judge me, because these are all self-limiting beliefs which we all carry. Not to say that I haven't done that. I have been in corporate and most of my meetings have been senior colleagues, male colleagues, where women are very infrequent. I also used to feel those things. But then I realized that if I have a question and I will not get a direct answer once I'm outside this room, and then if this is going to affect my work, I better be shameless and ask these questions right here. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, my name is Satish.
Yes, Satish.
Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, Satish, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask one question regarding that communication topic. So actually, we are in L1, L2 level in any organization. People are there, level 1, level 2 employees. So I seen some observed some team in our team members. They have exact issues there from their mind, but they can't express their thought to senior levels. So I think I thought that some little bit of fearing is there. So how we can overcome that fear or express their genuine cause to the higher level, senior level, CEO, CTO, and vice president level. These are the people. Actually, basically, we are think like that. We are not level like that. How we can conversation will happen with at the senior level employees. Like that, every employee should fear it. So I
Yes.
am observed how we can overcome that. Communicate with even L1 employee should communicate with CEO level. That is a question. Can you please elaborate? Like,
Yes. So, Satish, the interesting thing is when you ask a question to a senior leader, there could be 2-3 reactions. One, probably they don't have an answer, so they might deflect the question, or they will not say ki this is a stupid question.
okay.
Right? The worst to worst is that they will not have an answer and they'll say this is not important.
Yes.
Right? They will deflect it directly because they don't know how to address that question, because we assuming that since they are CFO level, CEO level, they will have all answers. They might not have, so they might want to deflect. But the other interesting part is they will not also be the people who will say ki this is stupid question.
Yes.
At that level they cannot. So what is the worst possible thing that can happen? Right? Because I understand from the point of view you are coming, there could be a lot of discussions on the timelines and how much this can be done. What is the sources which we have to complete a particular thing. So a lot of questions can come to the junior level because they have to execute these things. And if these are not cleared at the meeting level, then it will become challenging to solve them at individual level, and then it will be like a failure of the team or of that individual to do it because they could not raise their voice in a meeting. Right? So the point which has to be emphasized is that if it is going to fall onto your table, you have to make sure that you raised your voice. You made the other person understand the challenges and asked for the clarity. If it was not given to you, then there is a lacuna from their end also. But if you don't raise it, if you don't speak it out, then there is no helping you.
Got it.
Right? And
Yes.
so and expecting the other person to answer or address is not your problem. Whether they answer you or they address you is not your problem, because that's up to them, whether they have that clarity or not, they have that understanding or not. Your point is, I had put my perspective out there that this could be a challenge, or this is my question. Can you help me with my work better by answering this? So your outlook should always be whether it is helping me solve my problem. So you should not fear on that aspect.
Yes. Yes.
And if it is and they have to be, again, what I talked about in communication, that they have to be ready for the contradictory views. They have to be ready for a rebut. They have to be ready for a counter question to you. Why do you think you cannot do it? Then the addressing of those should not be vague. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Satish.
Hello.
Yeah, Vibhash.
Hello. Ma'am, how to crack in interview? Any suggestions? The most than IT sector interview, company business sector.
Right. So for business interviews, the most important thing which HR, the technical side, of course, you have to have very clear technical skills, which you will be able to promote and talk about in your experience or about your certification. The second thing most of the people look into is how confident you are to to work with cross functions. Right? So that is where, if you can give examples that I have worked with other functions in some place, it is good. If you cannot, all you have to say that I have had difficulties in working with a lot of people, but I've overcome that challenge through talking to them, understanding what they are requiring, and then trying to help what best I can do with them. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can
Hello?
you
Yeah.
tell
Who's this?
that we use is Arham Azmi?
Yes, Arham. Yeah, please.
Yes. Ma'am, can you suggest a few lines in conversation, like as I know, like as far
Oh, when you
as
have
far
a
as
difference of
remember
opinion
this
kind
kind
of
of lines.
things, when you have difference
Yes,
of
ma'am.
opinion with someone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So earlier, probably you would have seen, I had mentioned few lines as to, when somebody says, no, this is not like this, you can say that, based on my experience, or in my experience, I have seen this happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can say based on your experience. Second thing you can say is, as far as my knowledge goes, that means you have read somewhere. You have not experienced it in the first go, but you have read somewhere or heard from somewhere. Right? So as far as my knowledge goes on this particular subject, I think it should be more like this than that.
Yeah.
And then you can, when you are saying that, then you will have to invite the other person. Do you disagree with me, or do you have a different opinion than this?
Okay.
Okay. So that means you are giving
Yes,
equal
ma'am.
opportunity. Yes, Aram.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am, any etiquettes of mobile or call or emails? what we use, what lines is used. Ma'am, suppose if we are calling to our managers and the voice is not clear, or in a meeting, I want to interrupt other person to ask any question related to the
Right.
topic or anything else. So how
Yes.
we use the language, how we can say that?
Yes. So Arham, you can say that whatever, Mr. Raj is coordinating this for us. So if I have to reference back to Mr. Raj, I would say, Mr. Raj, probably I'm not able to unmute myself, or I cannot hear other participants. Could you help me with this? Or if you are not hearing the other person, you can say ki, sir, sorry to interrupt you. So you can start with a sorry. Sorry to interrupt you, but I could not understand your last point. Right? Or sorry, sir, but we cannot hear you clearly.
Yes.
Right? So that way you are apologizing for
Yes, I understand.
interrupting the other person, but you're also speaking what is required for you to do better. Or sometimes
Yes.
when a project is given to you, you can say ki, sir, I understand that this is the outcome you're looking for, but I think these are the challenges which can come. Can you help me? Can you guide me as to how can I overcome these challenges? So use terms like, can you guide me? Or sorry for interrupting, or I apologize, but I couldn't get your last point clear. Could you please repeat it for me?
Yes.
Right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I have asked for you, ma'am. This session was every day continue, yeah, only for this today?
This is for today. As for Vibhash, I will have a word with Mr. Sunil, and we can see what can be worked for all your.
Only for ma'am today sessions.
Yes, this is today's session.
Yes, ma'am. But ma'am, I have communication. We will discuss, ma'am. Every another Zoom ID. We will attend the class. Any Zoom ID. Any have.
That Mr. Sunil would be able to give you further clarity on that, Vibhash. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Sunil or Mr. Raj would be able to give you further clarity on what can be done. Okay?
Ma'am, how to contact?
You will have I'll share my contact details with Mr. Raj and Sunil. And as and when required, they can share it with you. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Right?
Ma'am, Sunil, there was Sunil means I don't understand. Who is?
So whoever is taking the trainings for you, na, Vibhash,
Yes,
they
yes,
will be
yes, sir.
coordinating with you. Okay?
There
They
was.
will coordinate with you.
Okay, okay.
Anybody else who wants to speak?
Ma'am,
Yes, who's this?
ma'am, I'm Monica, ma'am.
Yeah, Monica. Who's?
Ma'am, today only, ma'am, class.
What?
Ma'am, is this today only session or tomorrow will be continued, ma'am?
No, today only session. I'm just trying to close the last things. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So, can you all see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the barriers to communication, as Satish was asking me, I think it's more of a psychological barrier because of which people don't speak out, because people generally think how others would be perceiving me, or what would other people think about me, and that is why people don't speak out. But what others will think should not be our thought process. Our thought process should be that I want to be clear as to what is expected out of me, and if for that, if I have to raise a question, then I have the right to raise that question and get my clarity, because that will only help me do my job better. So I'm trying to do what is right for me to deliver what is expected out of me. So that psychological barrier and that superiors barrier, that fear of offending seniors, like Aram asked, how and what should we say? When you are interjecting a person when they are talking, or if you are not clear as to what they were saying. So fear of offending can be actually reduced by ensuring that how you are going to ask the question to the other person, how you are asking them as to, could you guide me in this? Can you please repeat that for us? These things, the way you communicate can always help in reducing those barriers. And sometimes superior barriers in the senior position is, even at a team lead level, people get confused whether I should ask others or not, because they have self-worth issues, because they think that at this senior level, if I don't ask a question, if I ask a question, that means people will think I don't know enough. So that superiority barrier is also there sometimes. Some seniors would generally deflect the question because they think that if I don't answer this right, people will think I am stupid and sitting at a senior position. So those barriers are also there. Now, knowledge barrier. To avoid knowledge barrier, to improve your communication, the best thing is to read enough books, to watch enough news channels, and create your opinion about the subject, whether it is professional subject, it's personal subject, or a generalized topic which is going on, to develop your own opinions to hamper off the knowledge barrier. Now, direct communication, sometimes when you go into corporate, you will understand that direct communication is not considered very, very good. As to when you start speaking what you directly feel, then the seniors get offended, or people think this person is too rude, whereas the person is just being honest to what their perception or their feeling or their understanding is. So there is a catch in direct communication. The catch is how you present your words. How do you put across your thoughts? And when do you put across your thoughts? It's necessary to be honest, but that doesn't mean the honest things have to be blunt, or honest things have to be rude. There can be a softer way of communicating the direct discrepancies or conflicts. So have direct communication, but make sure that you have sensitivity added, or sensitivity to the time and sensitivity to the topic you are taking into consideration when you are having direct communication. So this is my last slide. So if nothing you take away from this communication session, take one thing, that is self-awareness. What do we mean by self-awareness? Is you have to understand that my response to anything is my responsibility, and my actions are my responsibility. And as long as you do your part, you don't have to worry about others' actions, words, or behavior, because everyone will have different experience, different expectations, and their journey is different from your destination. So ensure that your communication improves, ensure that you do a better job in doing this. Wherever it has to benefit you, it might not really work today for you in the environment you are, but if you grow on yourself, if you grow on your communication, it will pay off sometime in your future, not right now. So the most important responsibility we have is towards ourselves. Don't stop that growth path thinking that it is not helping me. Communicating nicely is not a good thing because it does not help me. Right? So be self-aware about your growth and not to worry about others. I think that is all from my end. Do we have any more questions?
Ma'am, my name is Satish. One more question from my side.
Yeah,
Actually,
Satish?
recently we are getting some issues from interviews. Actually, manager one, manager two, we have some interviews are there, right? So L1 and sorry, if you want to attend any interview, we don't have any chance for answer all the questions, right? Some questions
Yes.
we need to do answer, some questions we don't have any information that particular superior asking so many questions. So how we can express that question we don't have any answer? So simply we can say no, or we can give some polite way. May I know
This
that?
is about the interview you are asking, Satish, or
Interview what they asking some question.
can you give a suggestion? Like, because technical things, maybe technical things will be clearer to you, right?
Some questions
Or
we don't have any answer. That's the case. How we can
okay.
answer to simply no, or we can able to give any polite way.
Okay. So what you can say, Satish, is based on my previous experience. If you have already worked somewhere else, or if you have done some training and all, you can say in my previous experience or the trainings I have done till now, I haven't come across this particular subject, and that's why I wouldn't want to give something which I'm not very clear on. But if this is a requirement for my job, I can ensure that I will work to learn this skill and grow myself.
Yes, got it.
Yeah. So there's no point to say directly no. You have to showcase that yes, it has not come to me, so it's okay. Okay.
Yes, got it. We can able to give some clarity, which is we are came from which background like that. So
Yes.
simply we don't want to go to no, so we can give some clarity from which position we are in like that. Okay, thank you, madam.
Yeah. Okay. Kunali, do you want to say anything? Has come into picture. I think no more questions. Fine.
Thanks, madam, for giving this your opportunity. Actually, if you further any classes, can you please arrange the how to face in HR interview, or how we can perform the HR interview for getting the job like that? I'm requesting you. Is there any future session will be there in future like that?
Sure, Satish. We'll see. Your training managers or people who are taking trainings for you, they are very looking forward towards upgrading your skills beside the technical things. So we'll see whatever is possible, and they will get back to you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So,
hello, Archana, Sunil here.
Yes, Sunil.
Thank you, Archana, for your time.
My pleasure.
Most of the participants, I hope you understood, are from technical background.
Yes.
But as we know, communication skills are very important for technical consultants and technical people also. So definitely this particular session had added value to them.
Right.
We look forward for many more sessions.
Hello. Hello. Yes, live Sunil sir, we will contact.
Yes, Sunil sir would be able to help you with what all things you require. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Raj. Thanks for helping with
Thank you,
this
Archana.
session. It was great connecting with all. Thanks. Have a great evening.
Thanks, ma'am.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.